Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Win TV. We are coming to you from the Washington Convention Center at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Annual Legislative Conference. I know you are used to seeing our publisher and my mom, Denise Barnes, and we're hoping she's going to get a chance to pop in. She's actually in Alabama at the ASALA conference. We hope you've had a chance to pick up this week's Washington Informer, and you can read a digital copy on www.washingtoninformer.com. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and hit share so your followers can see the broadcast. If you're watching on Twitter, be sure to follow us and we'll follow you back. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Washington Informer TV. Now, what's in the news? For one, we are sending our condolences to the rapper Coolio, who died at the age of 59 this past Wednesday. No cause of death was confirmed. The rapper was most famous for his song Gangsta Paradise. We are also sending our prayer support to those families who suffered destruction in Florida from Hurricane Ian. Supreme Court Judge Ketanji Brown had her investiture ceremony this morning, which makes for another historic first. Judge Brown is the first African-American woman in the court's 233-year history to have participated in this rite. We are happy to be at the ribbon cutting of the new LIDL food market opening in Skyland the other day. And the DC Council has voted unanimously to approve eliminating right turns on red lights, but they will allow cyclists to ride through stop signs and red lights without stopping. The bill will take place in 2025 after passing the final vote. Is this just another play for the district government to get more ticket money? We already have red light cameras, speed cameras, and stop sign cameras, which were all put in the name of safety. Have the cameras deterred speeding, running red lights, or rolling through stop signs? Let us know what you think. Drop a note on our social media pages and send us an email to news@washingtoninformer.com. We also hope you were able to sign up for a free screening of The Woman King next Saturday. If not, unfortunately, we are already sold out. Today we were talking to people here at the CBC conference. Our reporter, Sam P.K. Collins, will be talking to Young Chess Tournament Director Miles Kwasi Davis. Before we bring on our first guest, let's look at this week's news with our broadcaster, Curtis Knowles.
This is Win TV News. This is Win TV News, bringing you the news that matters. Two Washington, D.C. area high school students have created an interactive app that highlights the history of civil rights in the district. Lily and Eliza Dorton, co-founders of the D.C. Civil Rights Tour app, have an instrument providing an easy way to residents and tourists to learn more about the civil rights movement in the city. The Dorton sisters, who attend Holton Arms School in Bethesda, Maryland, wanted to focus on places where African Americans challenged segregation and broke down barriers in the face of oppression. The sisters commented saying, quote, "Washington, D.C. and our country have been shaped by the dedication and hope of Black Americans. And as kids living in the D.C. area, we wanted to create a tour reflecting the truth about civil rights in Washington, D.C. so that everyone, including young people, can learn more about this important history." A bill that would let non-citizens vote in district elections received the approval of the D.C. Council's Committee on Public Safety and the Judiciary on Tuesday. The bill was written and introduced by D.C. Councilmember Charles Allen, who chairs the committee. If it is passed by the council, the bill would allow undocumented immigrants and green card holders the ability to vote for positions such as mayor, attorney general, and council member. Allen commented saying, quote, "This committee has focused on removing barriers to voting and lifting the voices of all district voters, particularly those in historically underrepresented communities." Another D.C. Council bill providing city residents with $100 a month for the area's metro transit system and a dedicated $10 million fund annually passed the committee on Monday. The bill, once again authored by Councilmember Charles Allen, received the unanimous support of the Committee on Transportation and the Environment, chaired by Mary Che. The legislation will go to the Council's Committee of the Whole and possibly the full body as soon as October. Allen said this legislation would bring more people back to the metro system while expanding services for lower-income riders who depend more exclusively on public transportation. Hurricane Ian made landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast this Wednesday, lashing the region with torrential rains and winds of 150 miles per hour, knocking out power to 1.5 million homes and businesses. The catastrophic system is one of the most powerful hurricanes to strike the U.S. in decades, and came ashore near Cayo Costa, just west of Fort Myers, around 3 p.m., after strengthening to a Category 4 storm. Governor Ron DeSantis said that some areas had storm surges as high as 12 feet, and that Ian was battering southwest Florida. He said that he's been in regular contact with President Biden, who approved his request for an emergency declaration days before Ian slammed into the state. More than 2 million people along Florida's Gulf Coast have been under evacuation orders.
Okay, and we're back. Right now we have with us Commander Watson. How are you doing today, Commander Watson?
I am fantastic, Desmond. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Nice to see you here. Do you mind telling the people where you're from and what your occupation is?
Well, once again, my name is Commander Watson. I am the acting director of missions at the United States Merchant Marine Academy that is located in Kings Point, New York, which is 16 miles outside of Manhattan. The United States Merchant Marine Academy is one of the 5 tuition-free federal academies.
Why are conferences such as the annual legislative conference important to you?
What's important to me is, I've said, I'm the acting director, but I'm also the diversity officer at the academy. And it's very important to participate with the community. A lot of times you have colleges and stuff, they go out and about to things, but I'm a firm believer that I need to become part of the community in which I serve. And so one of my ways of giving back is to be visible to the community. For example, what we offer is not known by most, but it's very visible, and it's one of the most important things. Not aware of it. So when we're talking about futures and careers and opportunities, the more I get out and the younger I can reach and touch someone to introduce them, the better I am.
As a diversity officer, what's one message that you would like to get out to the younger people, like myself, who would be interested in something like that?
Well, 2 things. First of all, let's talk about higher education itself. The cost of tuition is skyrocketing. You know, the cost of education is one of the highest debt in America. Earlier, I said that we're one of the 5 tuition free. So what that actually means is that students can come to our university and then can attend, and they won't have education debt. So our students that come to our school, essentially we're engineering school. Students that come to our school and they can either go into the maritime industry, which is the shipping industry, or they can choose to go into any branch of the military as an officer. Stop and think about everything we use every day of the week. 95% of it is made someplace other than America. So that prompts the question, how does those goods get to the U.S.? Shipping, one of the largest and highest paid industries in the world. But we heard this old adage, and I'm going to use it again today. Good news don't travel in all communities at the same pace. And so by going out and participating in things, this is one of my ways to actually reach out to all communities to let them know about the good things that's happening at the Merchant Marine Academy.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing we know about the Washington Informer is the importance of spreading good news. So with that being said, do you think that this is an event that you will also attend next year?
Of course, I would attend it every time I get an opportunity. Because to me, today, if I reach one and that one can go and tell somebody else I've done my job, I'll come back next year, maybe I'll reach 2, 3, 4, or 5. And so the more often I come, then the better off I am.
That makes a lot of sense. Are there any things that your experience here so far today, it's something that you would take home with you?
Well, one thing I would take home, first of all, it gave me a lot of exposure, not only to the political environment here in Washington, D.C., but to the young people here in Washington, D.C. As a school administrator, that's really important to me. And when I say young people, I'm talking about young people of all ages, high school age, grade school age, because I'm a firm believer. The younger that I can reach them and introduce this information to them and provide to them and their academic staff, their high school counselors, what it really takes to ensure that their students have so they can be competitive to receive an appointment to attend our school. So the more I can connect with folks in this area at events like this, the more beneficial it is for the constituents and students in this area.
Well, how does someone that you might not have run to at this event, who would be interested in an opportunity of speaking with someone like you or learning more about what you guys do, how would they be able to get in contact with your program or with yourself?
Several ways. They can go to our website, and our web address is www.usmma.edu, or you can contact me directly. My email is watsonk@usmma.edu, or I can be reached by phone at 516-726-5642.
Nice. Are there any events or things coming up that people should be aware of?
Well, in this area right now, I do not know, but I know I'm headed from here back to New York for a day, and then from New York, I'm headed down to Houston. But I encourage everyone to check our website because when events do come up, we do post it on our website. So if there are events in your area, or if I'm going to be returning to the area, I will definitely post it there. And through all the connections I made, I will make sure that everyone knows when and where I am when I'm back in this area.
All right. Well, we definitely really appreciate you coming to speak with us today. And is there any last messages that you would like for our viewers to know?
Yes, here's the one important message that I send to everyone. First of all, when we talk about the service academy, sometimes when I walk into school and a person see me, they think military first. So the message I like to send everyone that the United States Merchant Marine Academy is an academic institution first. Students that come to our school go through our school like they would any traditional school. They'll go, they'll take classes, they'll graduate, they get their degree, and then they decide on their destiny after graduation, either going into the maritime administration or one of the branches of the military.
But thank you so much for joining us, Commander Watson, and we really do appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have another guest from the conference joining us very soon. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Commander Watson. And we are live here at the Convention Center for the annual legislative conference. Okay, and today we have with us another guest. Would you mind telling us your name and where you're from?
Yeah, my name is Emmerich Peace. I'm from Upper Marlboro, Prince George's County. I am a local real estate professional at Keller Williams Preferred Properties, 100% Black-owned real estate company in Largo.
Okay, do you mind explaining your occupation again for us one time?
I professionally, I am a real estate agent. We list and sell residential and commercial real estate in Washington, D.C., Prince George's County, Maryland, and Virginia. So we service the entire DMV and Baltimore.
Thank you, thank you. We know how important that is in the D.C. area. So why are conferences like the annual legislative conference important to someone like yourself?
Well, what's so really important about it is it gives me an opportunity to connect professionally to other people from other parts of the country. It also gives me an opportunity to become a little more aware and abreast of political situations, and it also gives me an outlet to make sure that I keep my pulse on things that are just happening in general and what other people's opinions are around the country from a business aspect and from a political aspect.
Do you think that this is an event that you will attend next year?
Uh, Probably so. I've been coming here. This is my 15th year coming here. So outside of pandemic, that is. I've been to 15 other conferences. I just love the atmosphere. I love the environment and the networking and people that I get to meet and the education.
Great, excellent. Are there any things that you've picked up so far at this conference that will stick with you, or that you might want to use outside of here?
Well, actually, I was in a session this morning, and what was really interesting is the conversation was about how the importance of us as Black people voting at this time and juncture in history. And the reason why it's so important is because there are a lot of issues on the table right now that critically affect us more than they do other ethnicities and other people. And we can't take voting lightly. We can't take our representation lightly. We have to come out and represent well from a voting block of people because we have to put our agenda in front.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we really do appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Having some great conversations today and meeting some really good people here at the CBC Annual Legislative Conference at the Washington, D.C. Convention Center. We have a few other guests coming out here that we're going to speak with, share a little bit of information with us. Okay. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Welcome to WIN TV. Do you mind telling us your name and where you're from?
Yes, my name is Tanisha Smith, and I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I'm here on behalf of the Green Defenders.
All right, and what is your occupation?
Well, I'm the Deputy Organizing Director.
Okay, the music's a little loud, so it's hard for me to hear everything. So you say you're the Deputy Director of which organization again? I apologize.
I'm the Deputy Organizing Director for Green Defenders.
Okay, so thank you. And why are conferences such as the Annual Legislative Conference important to someone like yourself?
Yeah, so we're actually here coming from Florida to talk to folks about our council student debt campaign. So we think it's really important as places like CBC that we're not only here talking about stories in the ways that our communities are being impacted, but making sure we're being grounded in the ways that we can actually shift and make change in a tangible way. And so one way that our organization sees that is by doing issue-based campaigns that we know will contribute to material change in our communities.
Absolutely. That sounds very important. And is this something like this? Is this event something that you would think you would come back to next year as well too?
Oh yes, we already have been plotting and planning to be back at CBC next year. Hopefully we'll have a panel to be able to talk about some of the work that we're doing in Florida and also nationwide, such as our Healing and Justice Center, that's like a trauma response, an alternative to 911, and also the just people power that we're building across the state of Florida to change the tide.
Nice. And I see you have some information. Is there something you wanted to share with the people to let them know what's going on?
Yeah, we are asking folks to join the fight. We know Biden has offered some student debt relief around 10 to 20K, but as Green Defenders, we do not think it's enough. And so we have an issue campaign that is demanding a full cancellation of student debt. And ensuring that folks understand how student debt is a Black issue. As a Black woman and Black woman nationwide, we hold the most debt across race and ethnicity. We know that if full student debt cancellation happens, we can close the race wealth gap by 40%. And also, our people could not have to choose between paying their student loans back versus paying their rent. And so, yeah, we're asking folks to share their story. They can go to bit.ly/BD My Debt Story to tell their student debt story. One way that we continue to stay in this cycle is by folks being embarrassed and shamed to share their stories. And we know power comes from us telling our truth. And us being able to say how this debt is a burden on our community, but also demand that action happens and the cancellation is seen through so folks could be able to live full, free lives.
One thing we all know about is student debt, and I'm definitely waiting for my letter right now from Biden. So, you know,
Yeah, and we already seen the Republicans are trying to even roll back that decision, right? And so we think it's really imperative, and we're asking for everyone to join this fight in the student debt cancellation, because if this opposition is already starting, we know that full cancellation is the only answer, and for it to be automatic, so folks don't have to try to figure out a complicated application process.
all right. Thank you. Well, thank you for your time. But before you go, is there any last message you would like to tell the people, or?
No, just making sure folks in your community organize, organize, organize. Dream Defenders is here to be a political home for you if you would like it to. We are trying to create a free world where Black and Brown folks aren't thought about last, but can actually live free, flourishing lives. And we know that can actually happen. We know tangible change can happen in our community, but we need folks to join organizations and build the power to be able to do so. It doesn't just happen here in the White House, but it's also change that we can enact right in our community today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and joining us here today.
All right, thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. Well, once again, we are still here live at the CBC Annual Legislative Conference. Um, at this point, we will be having Sam P.K. Collins, who's going to come on, and he's going to be talking with Miles Quasi Davis from the chess tournament director. You can take it away, Sam.
Peace, peace, peace. I appreciate it. It's good seeing you again, Desmond. Oh, Brother Miles. Right. Brother Miles, good
You
to
hear
see
me?
you. Yes,
You hear
sir.
me? Okay, good, good. How you doing?
Doing well. I'm doing well. For those who don't know, Miles and I, we have quite the relationship. I've taught Miles a couple times over the last couple years, and now I get to interview this young brother. Miles, please tell everybody about your entrepreneurial ventures and how long you've been playing chess.
Okay, yeah. So I've been playing chess for about 9 years now. I started when I was 5 years old. So yeah, I started when I was 5 years old and did my first tournament when I was five too. And then since then I just kept doing tournaments and recently started directing tournaments last month. So I've had two tournaments so far, and I'm planning another one for late October, probably the last Saturday or Sunday of October. So we're still planning that.
That's perfect. What is the significance of organizing tournaments or directing them? Why is that such a powerful tool to have?
Well, I think it's a powerful tool to have because there are a lot of people who they've heard of the game of chess, but they never understood how to play it. So being in that environment at a tournament where you're getting your own membership, your own USCF rating, I think is good for them because once you get 25 rated games, you can actually apply for a USCF scholarship. So
So when you say USCF, we're talking about the U.S. Chess Federation.
yes.
And how often do you see young Black people getting involved with chess at the national level,
Um,
or
actually,
even
not
young
very
Black
often.
people from the DMV?
So which you mean like at national? Or you just mean in tournaments, like
Being in
playing?
tournaments, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Recently I've been seeing a lot of playing in rated tournaments in the DC area. Yeah, that was like part of the reason why I started out because I know a lot of other people who are also tournament directors and they just never started their own tournament. So, it was good for me to have this, to explore this because I was really just playing in tournaments until recently. So now I realize, the effect I can have without actually playing, playing the game. So yeah.
So in terms of playing chess, what's the ultimate goal of a chess game? If I'm playing chess, what's my goal for people out there who may not be familiar with the game?
Yeah. So your goal is to checkmate your opponent, and you would do that by, well, really, you need to start off by taking off their pieces, especially in the opening. You want to make sure you're defending your king, taking your opponent's pieces, and once you trap their king, they have nowhere else to go. That's checkmate. That's the end of the game. But really need to focus on making sure your opening is good, because a lot of times if you make mistakes in the opening, it hurts you throughout the rest of the game.
And what kind of skills have you taken away in your 9 years of playing chess?
I think the main skill I've taken away is probably strategical thinking. That's probably the main skill, because that's really what you need to be good at chess, to win games, is strategical thinking. So that's probably the main skill I've taken away.
And that's pretty much helped you throughout life beyond the chessboard?
Yeah, definitely helped me throughout life. That's one of the reasons my dad taught me how to play chess, is to apply it to life. So it's definitely helped me with that.
And talk to me more about the Be Empowered brand. How does that fit into your endeavors as a chess director, chess tournament director?
Yeah, so the entire idea of the brand, and the reason it's called Being Empowered, it's about empowering my community, and a part of that is actually, teaching people how to play chess, getting the memberships, offering free tournaments in the area that we're doing monthly. So that's a big part of empowering my community right there, by just providing memberships for people and giving them free memberships.
Definitely. Before we sign off, I got a couple more questions for you. You mentioned your father. Are there any of the elders who were significant in your development as a chess player?
Yeah, Mr. Von Bennett was very significant in my development as a player. He actually told me about becoming a tournament director a few years back, and before he mentioned it, I never really considered it, because I've been playing tournaments for a few years, but I never considered directing my own tournament. So once he introduced that idea to me, you know, it just opened me up to like a different perspective on the game, because it's different from going from just playing in other people's tournaments to directing your own. And actually, some of my friends who I played in tournaments against before, they came to play at my tournament. So that was a really good experience for me. And Mr. Bennett, he actually taught me a lot about chess as well. He taught me a lot about chess, playing it, and he also taught me about how to direct tournaments. And my tournaments I'm doing are in partnership with him.
All right. Shout out to Mr. Bennett. Shout out to him. So if people want to get in contact with you, we're talking parents, young people, how do they get in contact with you to learn more about these chess tournaments?
Okay, yeah. So my email address is info@beclothing.shop, and my Instagram is the same thing, beclothing.shop. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me. Reach out to me there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Miles Quasi Davis, young chess phenom and a chess director, and somebody you should be looking out for. Thank you so much for your time, and best of luck to you.
No problem. I appreciate this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
for having
sir.
me on, man. All right. Have a
Always
good
good
night.
time. You too. All right, Desmond, back to you. Live from the CBCF annual conference. While we're waiting, uh, Miles Quasi Davis was the subject of an article that I wrote a few weeks ago about the phenomenon of chess and how there's been a gap in that Black youth access to the chess game. So what Miles is doing is very significant, and he's very humble in saying that. But quite frankly, Black youth need to be more involved in the game of chess, because it opens the door to a lot of opportunities and a lot of money that's on the table that often gets missed because of, as Mr. Bennett described in the article, institutional and race-based obstacles that are in the way that preclude our young Black men and women from participating in the game of chess. So you should definitely look out for that article and look out for young Miles as he continues to provide a way for his peers. My man Desmond, good to see you again. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry about that, Sam. Thank you for that segment, and very good to see you as well too.
My man.
Wish you were down here with us. We got some more guests down here um, at the annual legislative conference, and yeah. So thank you so much for that, Sam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So
these are your guests.
Okay, so we have some new guests with us that are going to be speaking with us about sickle cell. Um, and we all know what major part of our society that plays, and how important it is for us to know more information about sickle cell. We're just trying to get our cameras ready. All right, welcome to Win TV. The camera's on mute. Yes, yes. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Don't touch it again.
Okay.
Hit it again. Hit it unmute. Right.
All right. So please tell us your name and where you're from.
Yes, so Barbara Harrison. I am the Assistant Director for Community Outreach and Education for the Center for Sickle Cell Disease at Howard University.
Hi, I'm Harley Cole. I am representing the Sickle Cell Community Consortium today here at the Congressional Black Caucus.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the Sickle Cell Foundation that you guys are working with?
Sure. So the Howard University Center for Sickle Cell Disease was founded 50 years ago, and we have been committed to providing clinical service, research, and community outreach here in the local DMV area, as well as across the nation, and being involved with research and developments in sickle cell.
The Sickle Cell Community Consortium is out of Atlanta, and it works very much like the UN. So different sickle cell partnerships all over the nation are welcome to join. And we teach people about nonprofits and about sickle cell. I'm actually a caregiver, and I write children's books about sickle cell disease.
Wait, you're muted.
Why are conferences like the annual legislative conference important to you guys?
The conference is important to me because it gives us an opportunity to see Black excellence at every single level. And it gets us to talk about issues in our community that don't always come up. It gives us a chance to collectively understand where each of us is coming from, to gain more awareness, but also to help each other by partnering, by understanding, by building each other.
Sorry about that. We are live. A little music they're making an announcement right now.
Wait to take the initial. So talk about
But it needs to be,
and then
we definitely appreciate being here at the CBC. It's actually the end of Sickle Cell Awareness Month. That was all during September, and so we know that this is an important topic, an issue in the African American community, as well as more broadly. And so we always take an opportunity to raise awareness about the disease, to raise up our warriors who have existed, and also support those families who are affected with sickle cell disease.
It also gives us an opportunity to learn more about the topic on a level, even if we're teaching our children. So this is just one of the examples of how we can create literature and read literature, put it in our schools to teach our young people about how sickle cell is passed down from one generation to the next. So this is a topic that we all should be embracing. So thanks so much for having us, and thanks so much for listening and learning more about sickle cell.
And thank you guys so much for your time and joining us. We really appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
And we have one more guest. I'm ready to get her. You can set it down.
So, once again, we are here at the annual legislative conference. I want to thank everybody for watching Win TV today. Our publisher will be back next week, sitting in this seat. And she'll probably have a lot to tell us about what's been going on in Alabama. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching the show this week, and make sure you have a great week.